what do you think about the current musical scene especially black metal in Sweden and Norway and so on? And what do you think about artists that burn churches in the name of black metal?
Well, first of all, nothing of that is happening anymore. That was more than 10 years ago. And some parts of the metal media have been making those individuals into rock stars. And they are still writing articles about it, even though it was 10 years ago. And 99% of everything that the media has been writing about those guys has been about burning churches and killing homosexuals.
Yeah.
And only 1% has been about their music. So I think what those journalists really should do is to concentrate on Prinsessliteratur and Königen journalistic. Is, writing about, not writing about metal, but writing about fashion or celebrities in the gossip magazines.
Mm. So you just think they make out too much?
Well, they're trying to make stars out of people who are extreme. When bands like Bathory and Venom and Hellhammer started out 20 and 25 years ago, we went a certain distance to separate ourselves from bands like Saxon and Maiden and all of those new wave of British heavy metal bands. But the next generation have to do something even more extreme in order to rebel against the previous generation. And in 10 years from now, you will have black metal musicians killing themselves on stage in order to get, public attention. So the point is not what you do in order to get attention, how much makeup you have, or how much blood there is in the pictures. I mean, there are pictures of myself when I was 15, 16, 17 years old with spikes and blood and everything.
Yeah, sort of.
But we didn't know anything. I mean, we just thought it was cool. We didn't do it because we wanted to hate everybody or fuck the world or burn down churches. We were shit kids. Scheißekinder. We didn't know anything. If Satan had jumped up and said, "Hallo, ich bin Satan," we wouldn't have known him for, a drunk down the street. There's this very famous story about us, the original lineup of Bathory, when we had read in the Swedish newspaper that there was an American Satanic Society from California coming to Sweden for, public, PR.
Hmm.
And we tried to figure out, okay, so where is this, where are they going to, have this public relation meeting? And we were walking around Stockholm to try to find a building that looked like Satanists would like to go there because we wanted to know. And we came to this building and we walked into this building and we met this strange-looking guy in ceremonial dressing and we said, "Wow, so when are you going to sacrifice the lamb?" And he said, "I think you got the wrong house. This is the Stockholm synagogue."
Oh my God.
And we were like three Beavis and Buttheads. And 20 years later, people are coming to us asking questions about how do I worship Satan the best way? And I said, you're actually writing to the wrong person. You've been writing Beavis and Butthead in terms of satanic knowledge. I know nothing. It's like Fault Towers. I know nothing. Don't come to me. Go to your own inner Geist. Because you cannot worship Satan or be a better Satanist or more satanic than anybody else. Because Satan doesn't exist. God doesn't exist. If you burn down a house, it's just a house. It doesn't matter if it's a factory or a civilian house or a church. It's a building. It's a crime. If you can't write a good song, you burn down a church. If you can't come up with an interesting album, then you kill a homosexual. If you can't get laid or get famous, you have silicone tits. People are just using a lot of excuses to hide up their own limitations. And then you have a lot of press talking about these Norwegian guys who killed homosexuals and burned down churches and talking about them as if they were rock stars. Role models for kids. Talk about their music, because that's the only thing that these... it's the same thing with me. When they talk about me, they talk about that strange guy in Stockholm, and they don't even know me. Drinking blood and eating babies and blah, 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 and they try to make you into something you're not.
But I think you made it quite clear on your homepage now that
I hope so.
not a Satanist or all this stuff.
I'm not a Satanist, but I'm an anti-Christian. That's a big difference. I do not worship anything, and I'm not against anybody's religion, but I'm not a Satanist, because you cannot worship Satan and say, die, Jesus, because Satanism is a product of Christianity.
Yes. So keep on fighting those people who want to convince you of their beliefs.
Well, there's this, I believe they put it in a chapter on the website, in a page called Rumors, Lies, and Images, or something like that. There was this story about the Norwegian security police reading Bathory lyrics to see if any of those lyrics could have inspired people to burn down churches in Norway. And of course, 99% of all those kids in Norway and the present Swedish or Scandinavian black metal wave are Bathory influenced.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that I was writing lyrics saying it's okay to kill people or burn down churches. Whatever you do, whether it is having sex with a donkey or eating a dead rat or burning down a church, it's up to you. But there's a consequence to everything that we do. And don't try to make yourself a better guitar player or a more genuine black metal vocalist for something that doesn't have anything to do with music. Make an interesting song, make an interesting record, then we can talk. Look at the first Bathory album, for instance. It cost us 400 Deutschmark to record 20 years ago in a garage, 8 tracks, no digital equipment, 56 hours, 2 colors on the album cover. The album is 6 or 28 minutes long, and it's still selling between 25 and 50,000 copies every year. That album alone, those 26 minutes, 56 hours recording 8 tracks by 3 shit kids who can hardly play in a garage 20 years ago, is still paying my rent. Mm-hmm. So the music is the most important thing. You will be judged by your music, not how many Negroes you kill.
Uh-huh. Okay. I think I understand now, because I had asked myself what it is that keeps you down to the ground. What I mean is, after 20 years in the business, most musicians behave like little kings, you know. But I never heard it about you, that you are arrogant or something like this. So
well, that's one of the funny things about whenever I talk to people, and they seem to think that whenever we have an interview scheduled, they think that they're going to call Satan's son or something like that, and I'm going to be screaming across the phone. I've been doing this for a very long time. When new bands form up today and they have leather from top to toe and makeup in their face, and they drink blood, and they, special designed guitars and, bombs and everything, they're going to develop too. In 5 or 6 years, they're going to ask themselves, okay, so what am I beyond the makeup? Mm-hmm. I've been doing this for 20 years. If I would still have those leather pants with nails on and drink all that pig's blood, that would be me not having changed one bit in 20 years. If you have lived or done something for 20 years and you haven't learned anything about yourself, then really you cannot be a very interesting musician or a songwriter or an artist in any form. There are so many of those bands who used to wear makeup 5 or 6 years ago, and they're taking off their makeup now. Even Slipknot are taking off their masks, which is not bad. It just shows that they're growing, they're developing. There's something called evolution. And when people see pictures of me in all those big magazines, and I have a jeans jacket and a baseball cap, I've had in stores, when I come to record stores, and Bathory fans comes up to me and they look on me and they go, "Are you Quorthon of Bathory?" And I say, "Yeah." And they look at me and I have jeans, sneakers, and a t-shirt, and they go, I would never think you would wear jeans, sneakers, and t-shirt. And I go, "So what do you expect? Leather wings?"